Hi, this is Anthony Hansis with Forged by Geeks, and we're doing a Kingdom Death Monster review. If you'd like to learn more about the game and maybe see some of our sessions, we've been running a pretty decent campaign. We've got a playlist in that area that's sitting between this video and the comments that no one ever looks at.
So what is Kingdom Death Monster? It's a board game that harkens from roguelike video games or from strategy role-playing games, which are pretty common. No, they aren't. The idea is that you're these survivors who are stranded in a forbidding, terrifying world with no idea of how they got there, and the idea is to learn and grow and survive to the end of the game. It's not as easy as it sounds. You're going to be meeting a lot of this.
This game is out to kill you. And when I mean out to kill you, I mean you're going to lose every character you love, every character you make, in horrible ways. Their heads are going to explode. This wonderful Phoenix here, he's going to bite it right off, or he's going to make you age to the point where your character's useless, even though they went into the battle as a brand new character. They're going to be an old grandpa at the end. And that's just the start. The game throws everything at you, sometimes even your own characters.
One of the things that I love about this game is actually the art. So, it can be bloody and terrifying, honestly, but it can also be beautiful, kind of haunting, and fantastic. The world that is in Kingdom Death Monster is filled with wonderful things that are tinted with horrible things all over the place. You're going to see blood and death. You're also going to see things that make you wonder how things got this way, where you came from, and what's going on.
And it just keeps reinforcing every part of that as you go through. This gets into some of what I really love about the game, what I would consider the positives and the reasons to pick up this game. The story, it's rich, it's engaging, it goes beyond just the text written on the pages and on the cards. Because of some of the randomness, every time you play, you're going to be building a new story. You're going to be building new characters. You're going to have a whole new theme and experience with the game. And this is compounded by things like the AI cards. Every single monster has a deck like this of AI cards, and you're only going to maybe encounter a third of them in a single encounter, if you're lucky, or you'll build it out of a third, but you'll never see them, and you won't even know the ones you don't see. Then you have like the hit locations. Same thing. Every single attack you do, you're only drawing maybe one or two of these cards usually. And they affect tons. You may lop off a monster's hand, and then he can't do the same things on the AI cards that you already drew and are familiar with. It fundamentally changes every time you play the game. The next thing is, whereas, like, we've played a lot of D&D, and I've bought tons of figures like these for $60+ a piece. With Kingdom Death Monster, you get the figures with it. They require a bit of assembly, but you get them all with the game, and it really adds in. You're no longer imagining. You no longer have this crappy figure you pull out of another board game or that you bought that kind of works for a dragon or kind of works for a goblin, but it's not really fitting what your imagination is telling you it is. This game gives it to you end to end.
One of the other amazing things about the game is how it changes in what you can do. So you're going to develop a strategy for how you're going to approach things, particularly after you've lost your first couple of settlements to, the first nemesis monster, or you thought you were more prepared for a hunt than you actually were. So you develop a strategy. You're like, okay, well, for this one, I need ranged weapons. For this one, I need a shield. For this, I just need armor to make sure that my characters don't die so quickly. But you never know what's going to happen. You can get draws where it turns out that you don't have any of the things that you need to build what you wanted to build. And the equipment has a lot of interesting stuff to it as well, where using particular equipment together changes the way that it works. So you want to build up sets, but that can be difficult. You may not have the pieces you need, and there are trade-offs that you have to make when you make those decisions.
Yeah, you only have 4 characters. Now, while you usually, and I stress usually, get to keep your equipment from battle to battle, even if your character dies, in a lot of ways your equipment is actually your primary way of leveling in this game, which adds a whole new dynamic. If you've ever played roguelike games, I've never seen a video game, somebody will probably correct me in the comments, that has that kind of dynamic where you always keep the equipment even as you go through dozens of heroes.
One of the things is that your settlement can't survive if you lose people, right? If you lose all of your people, it's game over and it's time to start a new settlement. But it actually feels like it hurts worse when you lose a piece of equipment than a newbie. So if you lose your master of a particular weapon, that's terrible. It feels awful, right? But the fact that when we went into a fight recently and everybody died, the thing that made me the angriest about it was not even that we lost some very good characters, it was that during the process of us dying, one of the characters destroyed the helmet that they had on.
He just ripped it to pieces. It was gone.
And it was like, you're just staring at it and you're like, you're shitting me. This is not a thing. This did not just actually happen. So yes, we lost 4 people from our settlement, but it took my helmet.
So, outside of these beautiful models and everything else, this game does have a few downsides. One of the biggest is the price point. This game is $400 if you can get it from the guy who makes it. $400. I'm sure there's other games that cost that much, but the closest I've gotten was Kickstartering the design edition of Small World. I mean, that tells you how expensive this game is. And that's just the start. What you see here is a lot of figures that are from the expansions. This game has tons of expansions. If you manage to get all of the expansions and the main game from Poots, the designer himself, you're looking at almost $1,000 or possibly more investment. It's insane. And by the way, I keep saying if because he doesn't have more copies really right now. They pop up occasionally, but if you don't get it from him, you might be looking at $2,500 to $3,000 to collect everything off of eBay or Board Game Geeks Marketplace or any of a number of places like that.
So one of the other negatives about the game is honestly it's not for the faint of heart. Like if you get frustrated by games like Arkham Horror or like Pandemic, various other cooperative games that end up with you losing a lot of the time. If those frustrate you, this game will infuriate you. It does not play fair. It doesn't feel like it plays fair.
It doesn't.
During a hunt, you may just end up everybody at the table rolls on a table that has, a 1% chance, like a 10% chance of the character that they're rolling for dying, and all of you roll ones, and then that's the end of it. You just lost all those characters. It's, done. Go back to the settlement, cry, move on. If you can't move on, then this is definitely not the game for you. One of the other problems that it has is it's intended for 4 people to play, right? But if somebody dies either during the hunt phase or during the showdown phase when they're fighting something, that person still has a role to play. They still control the monster when their turn comes around. But other than that, they're sitting there maybe helping strategize while everybody else has actually got skin in the game. That can be incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, but given all of that, ultimately, I still have to recommend this game. Even if, by some fluke, we had managed to get just a copy of the core game, or, maybe we saved up and decided to buy the core game for like the $1,000 plus it's going on eBay, I think I would have loved that core game enough that I would save every penny I made over the next year, or whatever it took, to buy all the expansions. This game, if you have a gaming group that likes cooperative games, if you have a gaming group that is the type that's always going to be analyzing, going, okay, even though the innovation deck is random, which ones are we going to take? How are we going to build up our settlement? Even though we're getting different resources from all the mobs. Well, which mob are we going to fight? Which armor sets are we going to make? What are we going to do? If you have a gaming group that likes that type of thing, you can't avoid buying this game. It is worth every penny you'll put out. It is worth every tear you will shed playing it. It is worth every bead of sweat that'll be on your forehead when you're sitting there about to lose your entire group. They're all out of armor. They've all taken heavy damage to every hit location. And you're about to roll that die that determines whether you kill the mob or he attacks again and possibly kills your whole party.
Yeah, I can't recommend this game enough. I've enjoyed it a lot. There's a lot of strategy, and of course, as I said, there's a lot of spoilers that changes whether, how you play and what you do. The expansions add a lot of replayability. You don't even need to pick them up all at the same time.
Yeah.
I'd honestly suggest that you don't. The game that we've done with six of the expansions was probably a little bit too much, honestly. It ties into one of the other expansions we were using, but it's been a lot. The thing is that what really drives me about this game is that after we had that total party kill where we lost that helmet, which I'm still bitter about.
Really? I couldn't tell.
What happened was, for the next, week, all I could think of was, how could we change that? What could we have done differently? Which items should we have gotten? How should we have done this? What have other people talked about? What were their experiences? How could we face this? All of that was just going through my head over and over and over again. If you're the kind of person that loves feeling challenged by the game and is willing to put up with bullshit every once in a while, it's totally the game for you. It will suck you in. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard fight. There's a lot of mechanics to learn, a lot you're going to get wrong the first few times you play it. Even if you watch some YouTube videos on how to play, even if you read the 5-page FAQ with rule stuff that he puts out.
There's arguments over a lot of the rules.
Oh yeah, and there probably will be for a long time. Even aside from all that, I say this is pretty much must buy. Out of 10, I'd easily give it an 8 or a 9. The only real downside is the price for me.
Yeah, I feel like I have to warn people though. As I said, it's a depressing, demoralizing game. If you can take that, 100% buy. I'd give it a 9.5. It's just amazing.
Well, thank you very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this review. We hope you have some time, maybe check out a couple of our sessions. And if there's any games you'd like to see us review, or any other games you'd like to see us play, or you just want to check out Defense Grid the board game, please feel free to contact us, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us.